those attending via Zoom, please note that it is our standard practice for members of the public to have their cameras off and microphones muted until it's time for that member to speak. Township staff can assist with muting microphones. If you do require assistance, please use the chat function and ask staff. Also, pleased to advise that this is being broadcast live on the Township's YouTube channel, where a recording of this meeting will be available. Note that the Township does not have the ability to edit the live stream or recorded version of the meeting. Public meetings have been called and notice circulated in accordance with respect to applications for minor variance and/or consent. The purpose of public meetings are to inform and provide the public with the opportunity to ask questions and to express views with respect to the applications. The format of the public meeting is as follows. Township staff will explain the purpose of the application and report all correspondence received. Next, the applicant will present any further relevant information. Then the public will be permitted to ask questions and express views on the proposal. Then the public portion of the meeting will be closed, and members of the committee will be given the opportunity to ask questions for clarification of the application. After all comments have been received, the committee will consider the application with due regard to the presentations and views expressed this evening. The committee will then do one of three things: approve the application, deny the application, or defer the application pending receipt of additional information. Specified persons who have provided oral submissions or written objections but disagree with the committee's decision on any application may appeal the decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal as entitled under the Fighting Act. The deadline for an appeal of consent application is 20 days with the giving of the notice, and minor variance 12 days of the decision making.
Sorry, can you speak directly into the microphone there, Jess? It was very hard to hear you there.
Yeah, I just got the nod.
Sorry.
When commenting on an application, please give your full name and address for the minutes. Please note that the names and addresses of those individuals who speak at this meeting will appear within the meeting minutes, which are public documents. If you wish to receive a copy of a decision, please leave your name and address with the township staff. So I will ask, do any members have a disclosure of pecuniary interest on any of the applications this evening? Thank you. Moving forward, the adoption of the minutes. Moved by Member Bossy, seconded by Member Hiles, that the minutes of the April 18th, 2023 Committee of Adjustment meeting be adopted as printed and distributed. All those in favor? That's carried. We have no adjourned applications, so we will go to staff for application minor variance A0523. Staff, please introduce the application and report on any written response to the notice.
Thank you, Chair. So our first application for this evening is application for minor variance A0523 affecting the lands known as 4546 Trent Trail. No additional public correspondence has been received as of the public meeting. The subject property is located on the northeast side of the township with frontage along the Severn River directly across from the District of Muskoka. As you can see, the subject property is west of Provincial Highway 11, just off of the Canal Road. The subject property is currently developed with a single detached dwelling and an accessory residential accessory structure being a garden shed. So you can see the dwelling developed here, the garden shed developed at the back of the property here. This area of the township is characterized by low density residential development and recreational residential development, such as the development occurring on this property. The subject property is currently zoned Shoreline Residential 2 and, as noted, is developed with a principal residential use. The subject property is captured within the MNRF mapped floodplain of the Severn River and the Wellhead Protection Area B of the Severn Estates Municipal Drinking Water System. The applicants are proposing the construction of a private single-story detached garage suitable for the parking of a single personal vehicle associated with the residential use of the property. The applicants are seeking a reduced setback of 5.48 meters to the Trent Trail road allowance, where 7.5 meters is required. This is a copy of the proposed site plan that was submitted by the applicants with their application. To the right of the screen in blue is the footprint of the proposed garage. This is the approximate location of the Trent Trail Municipal Road Allowance. the Severn River is to the west on the screen here. Not pictured, but that is sort of the geography of the property. So as indicated on the site plan, the proposed garage would be located outside of 30 meters from the shoreline area, which is generally understood to be the vegetation protection zone per the policies of the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe. So as such, development is generally directed to outside of that, so this proposal would appear to conform or not conflict with those policies. No additional vegetation is anticipated to be removed as a result of the application, as the rear of the property is characterized with large exposed bedrock. Elevation drawings have been provided by the applicant to provide further context of what the proposed garage is proposed to look like. Again, just a single car garage accessory to the residential use of the property. As discussed in the staff report, it was identified that a portion of the subject property is captured within the mapped floodplain of the Severn River. Indicated on the screen is the approximate overlay of that MNRF map floodplain. The dark blue represents the floodway, with the light blue representing the flood fringe. The policy applicable to the application generally directs development outside of the floodplain area. It is noted that the proposed garage would be located outside of the map floodplain to the rear of the property. Therefore, no additional impacts or aggravation of that floodplain are anticipated to result from the application. In accordance with the Township Official Plan and the Clean Water Act, the application was provided to the Township's Risk Management Official at the Severn Sound Environmental Association for review, as it is located within a wellhead protection area. The Risk Management Official has confirmed that the accessory use would not be a prohibited use by the Clean Water Act and would be okay to proceed as is currently proposed. Included on screen now are photos taken by staff during the completion of a site inspection. The yellow demarcation has been added to the photo by township staff just to provide a rough idea of where that footprint at the rear of the property for that proposed garage is going to go. Again, just some more photos of the site. There would be no further vegetation required to be removed. As you can see on the left of the screen, a lot of the rear of the property is occupied by that large exposed bedrock. As outlined within staff report D23011, forming part of the agenda this evening, the application appears to conform or not conflict with the applicable policy and appears to satisfy the 4 tests for a minor variance. As discussed, the Severn Sound Environmental Association has indicated that the use would not be prohibited per the Clean Water Act and would be okay to continue as proposed. No objections have been received from the Building Division, Public Works Department, Fire Emergency Services, and the Township Clerk. Particularly important in this case is the fact that the Public Works Department provided no concerns or objections to the application. But even though it is requesting a reduced setback, it would not appear to have any negative impacts on the operation of the municipal road allowance. So for that reason, the Planning and Development Department has no objections to the approval of the application, subject to the recommended conditions outlined within the staff report. The recommended conditions include that the municipal taxes be paid to date, that the construction is in substantial compliance with the plans submitted with the application, and that the existing vegetation on the property be preserved and enhanced as much as possible. That is all I have to speak to on this application this time, but available to answer any questions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Does the applicant or their agent have anything further to add to this application? Thank you. Is there anyone registered on Zoom to speak to this application? Okay, well then, if there's no further comments, I declare the public portion of this application is closed. Do any members of the committee require further clarification or have any comments on the application? Moved by Member Hiles, seconded by Member Kish, that staff report D23011 be received. That in the matter of minor variance A0523, the requested variance be approved, subject to the recommended conditions included in attachment 6 of staff report D23011. All those in favor? That's carried. Thanks. Staff present the application for consent B0123, please.
Thank you, Chair. Our next application is consent application B0123 for lands located at 4050. This slide is a key map showing the location and subject lands within the Marchmont Lake settlement area. They are located approximately 200 meters south of the intersection of the line and Division Road. The 2022 aerial imagery does show the currently vacant lands within the settlement area. They are well treed with mature vegetation throughout, and they are surrounded by existing residential uses and rural residential uses approximately. So as mentioned, the lands are located within the settlement area of Marchmont Lake. It is proposed that the existing lot be severed approximately half to facilitate the creation of one new residential lot and keeping one retained lot. So that would result in there being two residential lots. The township staff do have concerns with the application with respect to ensuring drainage and impacts to the neighborhood properties, along with ensuring acceptable access to the line. Planning staff are of the opinion that additional information is required in order to determine consistency with all of the applicable policy documents. This slide just shows the sketch that the applicant provided with the application. The lands in yellow would be the retained lands, and the lands in green would be those that are proposed to be severed. The table here just describes the frontage and area of both the retained and severed lot. As noted, both lands would exceed the minimum requirements of the zoning bylaw. The next couple slides here are just the site visit. I do apologize, it is a bit hard to make out the topography through the photos, but if any of the committee members had an opportunity to attend site, you would see that the terrain is quite varied throughout the property. You can kind of see, following my mouse here, there's a bit of a ravine lake feature that flows back through here and to the south, and once again, it's steep. And that type of topography is consistent throughout the property. You can see in this photo here, there is some standing water on the property as well, as the lands do drain some neighboring properties. So staff just want to ensure that drainage is not impacted negatively as a result of the application. Again, this photo here just shows the change in elevation from the edge of the road allowance down into the properties. And this change is one of the reasons why the deferral is requested or recommended by staff, just to ensure that there is appropriate access points to the property. So as detailed within the staff report, township staff do generally agree with the opinion of Mr. Morgan and Ms. Mills as detailed in their planning justification report. The policies are generally supportive of lot creation and development within settlement areas, and private services are permitted to serve development within rural settlement areas such as Marchmont Bass Lake. Private services just refers to a well and septic system. Despite that general policy direction, there is some concerns with drainage and stormwater management patterns. Staff do believe that these technical matters need to be addressed prior to the committee making a decision on this application. The preparation of a lot grading plan identifying those building and septic locations, as well as appropriate entrance points, is recommended prior to the committee making their decision. The Building and Public Works departments also requested the preparation of a lot grading plan prior to the committee making a decision this evening. There was also one public comment received from Ms. Karen Coyne at 4056 Wainman Line. She wished to see that the ravine remain intact and ensure proper drainage along with environmental protections to maintain the natural aesthetics, privacy, and habitat for wild animals. So in conclusion, the planning department does recommend the deferral of the application pending receipt of a lot grading plan identifying development envelopes as well as appropriate entrance locations. So that concludes my presentation, but as always, if there's any questions, please let us know.
Thank you.
Is Mr. Morgan? So then the, no one else is here to speak to that application as agent. Okay, is anyone? Do any members of the committee have any questions or clarification for staff? Yes.
Through the chair to the staff, to Brad. It looked like all graffiti. Are they planning to backfill it?
Through the chair to member plus, that is one of the aspects the block grading plan would identify. So the block grading plan would be prepared by a professional engineer, identifying appropriate building and septic, as well as the entrance locations. So if any fill was required to create a suitable area, then the engineer would assess how the drainage may be impacted by bringing fill into the property if that's required.
Go ahead.
To Brad again, do you have any idea where they're looking at the residential areas on the lots?
Through the chair, no, we do not know about this.
Any other members have any questions of staff regarding this application? Moved by member Kish, seconded by member Bossy, that staff report D-2312 be received, and that in the matter of consent application B-0123, the application be deferred pending receipt of a detailed block grading plan prepared by a professional engineer to assess drainage implications while identifying appropriate building and septic envelopes and entrance locations as detailed within staff report D-2312. All those in favor? That is carried. So when this comes back, it will show those locations. Okay, now for adjournment. Moved by member Bossy, seconded by member Hiles, that the Committee of Adjustment be adjourned at 6:48 p.m. on Tuesday, May 16th, 2023. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you.